Are you casually placing a heart-healthy piece of seafood on the pan without realizing it could be the ticking time bomb of a silent stroke? According to a meta-analysis published in Circulation, American Heart Association, the endogenous cholesterol in certain seafood increases stroke risk by 35%. Another study in Nutrients found that consuming seafood high in purines and heavy metals raises the rate of osteoarthritis in people over 60 by 54%. In plain terms, clean eating, cutting red meat, and loading up on fish, shrimp, and squid may actually be feeding disease every day without your knowledge. But I understand your dilemma. You gave up beef to avoid unhealthy fats and turned to seafood for its omega-3s and calcium. So what's left to eat? The answer isn't to abandon the ocean, but to recognize the masked threats in the dishes causing harm, then swap them out for safer choices that can even help rebuild cartilage and protect blood vessels from aging. In this video, I'll expose the 5 most common seafood items on American dinner tables, explain why they're silently damaging the liver, kidneys, and nervous system of older adults, and if you stick around until the end, I'll recommend clean, low-toxin, truly omega-3 rich seafood alternatives you can start using this week. The next few minutes will determine whether your stomach, knees, and memory improve or decline. Stay until the end, hit subscribe, and share this with your loved ones, because one click today could save your whole family from the hidden toxins in every tomorrow meal. 1. Imitation crab. The red and white crab meat that looks harmless in salads or sushi rolls is actually a product of an industrial process. Miscellaneous fish are pulverized into surimi, mixed with wheat flour for elasticity, sweetened with sugar and corn syrup, salted heavily, dyed bright red-orange around the edges, then sprayed with artificial flavorings to fool the nose. After repeated washing, pressing, steaming, and deodorizing, the original fish is virtually stripped of enzymes and micronutrients. What remains is mostly refined starch and salt. Eating a single 90g stick of imitation crab delivers as much starch, and thus the same rapid blood sugar spike, as a bowl of white rice, while supplying over 700 mg of sodium, nearly half the recommended daily limit for older adults, easily driving up blood pressure and causing fluid retention in the legs. The biggest danger is that imitation crab contains none of the nutrients seniors believe they're getting from seafood. Virtually no omega-3 to protect the heart, and a lack of vitamin B12 and zinc needed for memory and immunity. For those in prediabetes or insulin resistance, the sugar shock after a crab stick salad lunch forces the pancreas into overdrive, causing erratic blood sugar swings and afternoon fatigue. The liver is also overworked detoxifying preservatives and synthetic flavorings. Already elevated liver enzymes struggle to come down. The consequences don't hit all at once, so they're easy to overlook. After a few crabstick sushi rolls at lunch, many people feel sleepy, a bit dizzy, and heavy-handed. Over several weeks, waistlines expand despite no change in portions. Signs of fluid retention and fat accumulation around the liver from excess insulin. As one endocrinologist bluntly put it, if I advise my hypertensive patients to avoid instant ramen, I'd cross imitation crab off their meal plan too, because the body handles both exactly the same. Refined carbs plus additives plus high sodium. The solution is simple. If you want rolls or salad with a seafood taste, use shredded steamed salmon, boiled shrimp, or real crab eggs, all rich in protein, omega-3, and zinc. If you must have the chewy sweetness of imitation crab, limit yourself to a single fingertip-sized piece, treating it as a flavoring rather than a main protein source. More importantly, make reading labels a habit. The longer and more unpronounceable the ingredient list, the more reason to put it back on the shelf. Let your over 60 meal be an opportunity to nourish yourself, not a gamble with your blood sugar, blood pressure, or liver and kidneys. 2. Squid. This seafood often appears on menus as a low-fat, high-protein option, seemingly harmless for the heart. However, beneath that tender white flesh lies figures that make endocrinologists frown. A single serving of about 85 g contains nearly 200 mg of cholesterol, equivalent to 65% of the daily limit recommended for adults, and it also carries a high purine load that triggers the body to produce uric acid. At age 60 and above, liver and kidney filtration efficiency has declined, so handling both cholesterol and uric acid simultaneously becomes a silent burden. Blood thickens as LDL rises, while joints swell and redden from urate crystals invading the synovial lining. The risk is magnified by the fact that squid is rarely simply steamed or boiled. In restaurants, the most common preparations are deep-fried calamari, stir-fried squid in sauté sauce, or battered squid repeatedly fried in oil. Repeated high-heat frying generates a cascade of oxidation products, denaturing the squid's cholesterol, making it more likely to adhere to vessel walls and promote inflammation. The low-fat label on the raw ingredient swiftly becomes meaningless when a plate of fried squid delivers enough oxidized oil to push liver enzymes upward and leave the stomach aching. Many symptoms wrongly attributed to aging actually stem from weekend squid indulgences. Burning big toes at night, difficulty bending the back, knee pain climbing stairs. These are precisely the uric acid spikes after days of purine intake without realizing it. Take Mr. Paul, age 67 in Texas, as a prime example. He loved garlic chili squid, eating it 3 times a week, believing seafood protein was better than beef. When his knee became so swollen he could no longer play golf, tests revealed elevated uric acid and LDL at warning levels. Once squid was removed from his diet and replaced with wild-caught salmon and lentils, his joint pain markedly decreased within 2 months. If you still crave the taste of the sea, switch to cod, red snapper, or steamed shrimp, low in purines, modest in cholesterol, and easy to digest. If you must have squid, choose ginger-steamed or quickly grilled preparations. Skip the batter, limit portions to under 50 g, and pair with plenty of fiber-rich greens to sweep excess cholesterol through the gut. Don't forget to stay well hydrated and move gently after your meal to support liver and kidney function. With these small adjustments, you'll wake with less toe tingling, looser back muscles, and avoid the soft trap of squid, an innocent-seeming dish that can accelerate joint and vascular decline faster than your age. 3. Scallops. They appear elegant and creamy white, praised on healthy menus as low-fat, high-protein, and waist-friendly. Yet behind that glossy shell lies a lesser-told story. Scallop meat, especially the adductor muscle we eat, tends to accumulate cadmium, a heavy metal naturally released on the seafloor and gradually concentrated in mollusk tissue. Unlike mercury, which attacks the nervous system immediately, cadmium silently bills your kidneys. By age 60, renal filtration has already declined. Burdensome cadmium then binds in the kidney tubules, causing protein leakage into the urine and quietly driving blood pressure upward. Observational studies in Japan and Northern Europe found that seniors who consume bivalve shellfish more than 3 times per week have twice the urinary cadmium levels of those who eat only white fish, despite modest portion sizes. The danger lies in the vagueness of early symptoms: mild ankle swelling by evening, unusual arm fatigue, waking unrefreshed despite adequate sleep. Most dismiss these as normal aging and skip kidney function tests. By the time creatinine rises and proteinuria appears, the damage has been smoldering for years. A single 100 g serving of scallops, about 4 or 5 bay-sized medallions common in supermarkets, can already hit the European Food Safety Authority's full weekly cadmium limit for a 70 kg adult. The risk escalates with garlic butter, grilled or cream-sautéed scallops popular in restaurants. High heat fosters advanced glycation in products, increasing systemic inflammation in tiny vessels already worn with age. Scallops also lack the significant omega-3 benefits of herring or salmon, so cardiovascular advantage is virtually nil, while heavy metal exposure is unmistakable. If you seek a high-protein, low-fat, kidney-friendly meal, you have far safer choices. Poached organic chicken breast, farmed tilapia from clean operations, or even silken tofu steamed with ginger. Crave the taste of seafood? Switch to steamed shrimp or boiled clams, both far lower in cadmium and rich in zinc and selenium to support thyroid health. If you must indulge in scallops, treat them as an occasional delicacy. Limit to no more than 50 g once a month. Accompany with plenty of dark leafy greens rich in calcium and soluble fiber to help block heavy metal absorption. Always stay well hydrated, monitor blood pressure regularly, and obtain an annual urine microalbumin test to catch any kidney warning signs before it's too late. In summary, scallops are not an absolute enemy, but they hardly deserve the diet food label their marketing implies. For those over 60, where every meal serves as both nourishment and medicine, silently inviting cadmium to your kidneys is a risky gamble. Prioritize clean, easily filtered proteins, and leave your detox capacity free for life's better pleasures. Don't gamble your renal health on a glamorous plate. 4. Shrimp. This type of food is always considered a safe star at the table because its meat is low in fat, its flavor is sweet and delicate, and its cooking time is measured in mere minutes. Many older families regard a plate of boiled shrimp or stir-fried shrimp with green beans as a wise choice instead of red meat, without realizing that the small crustacean silently brings 2 layers of risk. First, although its overall fat content is low, shrimp meat contains about 180 mg of cholesterol per 85 g serving, equivalent to 60% of the daily recommended limit. In an aged body, the liver metabolizes more slowly and liver enzymes decline, so excess cholesterol easily adheres to vessel walls, raising LDL and gradually pushing up both blood pressure and the risk of a silent stroke. The second layer of risk comes from the shrimp's protein structure, tropomyosin. This molecule binds to the shrimp's muscle fibers, is highly heat-stable, and resists breakdown during cooking. In a young person's immune system, the body may tolerate it, but in people over 60, whose immune defenses have aged, tropomyosin can be mistaken for an intruder and trigger an allergic reaction. Such a reaction is rarely dramatic like anaphylaxis. It usually shows up as scattered rashes and persistent itching on the face and neck, along with a feeling of fatigue after the meal. Because the symptoms are mild, many dismiss them as caused by weather or seasonings, only to have the smoldering allergy damage the intestinal lining, leading to absorption disorders, recurring constipation, or diarrhea. Chitin, the tough fiber that makes up the shrimp's shell, is also another challenge for a weak stomach. When shrimp are not properly deveined and shelled, leftover shell fragments can embed in the intestinal villi, causing gas, bloating, and hindering the growth of beneficial bacteria. Moreover, most frozen shrimp sold in U.S. supermarkets are farmed industrially with prophylactic antibiotics. Although the residual antibiotics are low, they are enough to disrupt the fragile gut microbiome of older adults, reducing the diversity of good bacteria and paving the way for mild chronic intestinal inflammation. Statistics from the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma and Immunology show that 14% of people over 65 develop a seafood allergy for the first time in their lives, and shrimp is the most common culprit. The solution is not to cut shrimp out completely, but to eat strategically. If you truly love shrimp, treat it as an occasional dish. Once or twice a month, choose products certified organic, thaw properly, then quickly steam or boil, peel thoroughly, and remove the dark vein along the back to reduce chitin. Serve with leafy greens rich in soluble fiber to clean out cholesterol, and add ginger or turmeric to the cooking water to support gut anti-inflammation. Immediately after the meal, observe. Does your skin become red? Does your stomach feel unsettled? Or is your sleep disrupted? If so, that is a sign your digestive system is signaling that this small seafood is no longer suitable for your new age. In that case, switch to another white protein source such as organic tilapia, chicken breast, or lentils, which will be much gentler on the heart, kidneys, and peaceful mealtimes of old age. 5. Farmed salmon. Known as a golden food for the heart and brain, the industrially farmed version that lines supermarket shelves tells a completely different story. Wild salmon swim in cold currents, hunt small shrimp and marine algae, and therefore accumulate concentrated omega-3 DHA and EPA. Farmed salmon, however, are confined in crowded pens and fed pellets made with soybean meal, vegetable oil, and synthetic red astaxanthin to color their flesh pink like wild fish. Cheaper feed means a marked decrease in omega-3, while omega-6 from vegetable oil skyrockets, upsetting the nutritional balance. An older body already prone to chronic inflammation becomes even more susceptible to smoldering inflammation after what seems like a healthy meal. That's not all. Overcrowded farming environments make the fish prone to parasites, so producers add chemical pesticides and antibiotics. Compounds like PCBs and dioxins dissolve into the fish's fat and gradually accumulate, burdening the liver, an organ whose detox capacity naturally slows with age. Eating farmed salmon regularly may supply adequate protein, but the premium omega-3 needed to protect the heart and sharpen memory falls short. Instead, you face increased risks of mild joint inflammation, dull grayish skin, and unexplained muscle fatigue. Many older patients report switching to salmon to cut red meat, only to find their liver enzymes creeping up and their skin becoming dry and sallow, hallmarks of low-grade, chronic inflammation driven by high omega-6 ratios and residual chemicals. A practical solution: if the package does not clearly say wild-caught Alaska salmon, turn away. Instead, opt for New Zealand green-lipped mussels, oysters, or canned sardines in olive oil, clean, affordable, and readily available sources of omega-3. If you must eat farmed salmon, trim away the yellowish fatty skin, where toxins concentrate most. Then steam or quickly pan-sear without oil to minimize the formation of pro-inflammatory agents. Pair your fish with leafy greens, ground flaxseed, and a squeeze of fresh lemon to add antioxidants and support your liver in processing unavoidable toxins. Remember, after 60, the goal is not to eat what sounds fancy, but to choose foods with the fewest variables for your liver, heart, and brain. A small wild-caught fish can be far more precious than a rosy fillet farmed in industrial pens. If you've decided to temporarily avoid those hidden danger seafoods, you certainly won't lack options to keep your meals delicious while also supporting your knee joints, blood vessels, and intestines. First, give New Zealand green-lipped mussels a chance. This mussel species from pristine waters contains a distinctive fat called ETA, a close relative of omega-3, which can markedly soothe joint swelling and pain. Many knee arthritis patients report that after just 4 weeks of eating 6 to 8 steamed mussels per week, their joints creak less when climbing stairs and feel less stiff upon waking. Green-lipped mussels are also very undemanding to prepare. Simply rinse them, steam for a few minutes with ginger, lemon peel, and a pinch of cilantro, and the flesh turns fragrant and sweet without any added salt. The second suggestion is fresh oysters. A medium-sized oyster provides 3 times the daily zinc requirement, along with natural B12 and selenium, 3 micronutrients that people over 60 often lack due to poor absorption. Zinc helps wounds heal quickly and supports immunity, while B12 keeps nerves alert and reduces numbness in the hands and feet. For safety, choose oysters from waters tested for sanitation, shuck them immediately before eating, squeeze on a few drops of lemon and a little freshly ground pepper, and absolutely avoid battered, deep-fried oysters, which raise cholesterol. Third, let sea moss, sometimes called Irish moss, become your daily mineral supplement. Dried sea moss, once rehydrated and blended with plant milk, forms a smooth, nearly odorless gel that contains up to 92 trace minerals such as iodine, magnesium, calcium, and iron. Mixing this gel into morning oatmeal or a midday smoothie not only nourishes gut probiotics, but also helps reduce dry skin, strengthen nails, and lessen hair breakage. Finally, sea cucumber, the ginseng of the sea. Sea cucumber flesh is rich in natural collagen and chondroitin. two components that contribute to regenerating joint cartilage and increasing vascular elasticity. For older adults who often suffer from back pain or stiff shoulder joints, a small bowl of sea cucumber soup cooked with mushrooms and a few slices of ginger each week can provide significant support. Dried sea cucumber, when soaked in warm water overnight, then rinsed and simmered in vegetable and bone broth for about an hour, becomes tender and loses its fishy odor. By rotating these four candidates in your diet, you avoid mercury, cadmium, and residual antibiotics while supplying ample omega-3s, essential minerals, and collagen. Start by adding green-lipped mussels to your weekend lunch. Try sea moss gel in your Monday smoothie, then alternate oysters and sea cucumber soup on the remaining days. After about a month, you will notice your joints creaking less, your skin looking brighter, deeper sleep, and a more balanced mood, clear proof that eating the right seafood in the right amounts is always the cheapest and most sustainable tonic for the golden years. You can now see clearly. After age 60, each meal is not just about feeling full or tasting good, but actually determines the rate at which your heart, brain, and joints age. Those pieces of king mackerel, tilefish, swordfish, farmed salmon, or seemingly harmless shrimp are in fact glossy coats hiding heavy metals, antibiotics, and concentrated cholesterol. They slip through the weakened filter of your liver and kidneys, smolder in your joints, erode memory in the hippocampus, and leave you bewildered. Why am I dieting but still tired, still aching? The lesson is crystal clear. Eating right is no less important than eating enough. In your 60s and beyond, your body gradually loses its ability to correct mistakes, so just a few months of accumulated nutritional errors can turn into high blood pressure, gout, or cognitive decline. Rather than wait for swollen knees or blurred vision, act today. Take a simple step. Open the fridge, cross off the 5 traitors you've just learned about, and replace them with the wonderful substitutes I've recommended above. These small but smart choices deliver DHA, zinc, selenium, without excess mercury, without antibiotics, exactly what your body needs to rebuild joint cartilage, soothe your blood vessels, and polish your memory. Do you dare start changing tonight? In 3 weeks, check for yourself and come back to comment on this video. I promise that climbing stairs will feel easier, you'll wake up remembering what you need to do, and your wrists won't tingle when opening a jar of jam. Don't wait for the doctor to prescribe more pills to change. Let your dinner plate become the strongest yet gentlest prescription. And if this message has awakened you, share the video with your loved ones, because their golden years. Health also deserves protection from a very small decision. Choosing the right fish.